And then this evening at 8 o'clock, the grand finale that everyone all week has been awaiting for, the selection of our Supreme Champion heifer and bull here tonight at the Cattlemen's Classic.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for their patience. Probably was guilty of bringing too many kids back, or we should have had the final heat split in half. That's my fault. I kind of made a quick sort on these, got them down to, I think, 13, and we're supposed to place 10. And I think I've got 13 really, really talented kids, especially for this age, and I guess that's what's made it more difficult on my end, is I think it's quite a bit a really even playing field for this age of kids. Usually you have somebody that's seen a lot more miles, and they've got maybe a heads up on the rest of them in that age. But I think you do have an outstanding set of junior showmen, if you will. Congratulate them here before we place our top 10. We are going to go ahead and this time I'm going to leave them in. This will be your top 10 in order. This young lady down under here will be your champion junior showman. This young lady does an outstanding job. Obviously spent hours and hours with that steer, or somebody has maybe doesn't just come out and run you over with anything she does, but it's all the little subtle things that she doesn't do anything really wrong. I think the first 5 kids here do an outstanding job of what I call, leading that animal into place and trying to be minimal in the way they're touching and handling those feet. The young man that'll be your reserve behind you with the percentage Simmental heifer there does an outstanding job. Maybe a little bit more apparent in the way he's showing his heifer. He doesn't maybe quite as subtle as the young lady that wins this division, but does an outstanding job too. He's one that's really confident, does an outstanding job of keeping that heifer presented to the best of his abilities. I think the next 2 young ladies are extremely comparable. I think both of them have obviously got maybe a little more experience or seen a lot more time. Heifers are probably getting a little hot and uncooperative on them at this point, but both those young ladies do probably as good as anybody in the ring in terms of backing up and leading that animal into place. I guess for those seniors or intermediates that are around the ring, I do think that's a high priority. It's an efficiency contest when it comes to setting these cattle up, in my opinion. If somebody 5 animals behind you set up and you're still jacking with your animal, trying to get those feet in place, obviously something isn't clicking. And those 2 young ladies do an outstanding job of just being extremely calm and collected, and yet not overusing those sticks. Young lady in 5th has probably got the advantage in an animal that's probably a little more seasoned than those on either side of her, but obviously the young lady does an outstanding job. She's maybe one of the youngest of the top 10 here, but she maybe never has touched a foot yet. I'm not sure. She does a great job of leading that heifer into her place. Somebody that I think will be an outstanding leader in the beef industry, the young man with the red steer here right here. He's a leader. You can tell he's a decision maker when he's out here and leading these animals. He's asking questions of what he can do to be in place. And it's kind of unorganized chaos here a little bit ago when we had all 20-25 of them out here. He was doing a great job of trying to be a leader, and I appreciate that about him. He does a great job. The next 3 individuals, or 4 individuals, I guess the young lady with the black heifers, the longer they're dancing here together, the less cooperative the heifer's getting. I think she's just getting hot, but she too does an outstanding job of getting that animal presented to the best of her ability here on the profile. Young man in the orange, 170, his heifer, he probably gets her stuck as good as anybody on the profile. It's when they're walking, we can't get that heifer to get out and move with him. He gets to tugging on her a little bit, and that's where I try to change him. He does an outstanding phenotypically, from a profile, getting her set up. I just like to change him as we get going, and that's it. There's something that'll come as we get these animals more broke. The next 2 individuals do an outstanding job. The young man with the Angus steer has done a great job. Again, one of those that you don't notice because he's so subtle in everything that he does, but every time you catch him, that steer's set up to, and I appreciate that. Young lady probably gets the hard luck award here with the Simmental heifer on the end. Heifer that she does a great job getting her stuck, but that heifer doesn't want to walk at all. But she's stuck with it, hadn't shown any aggravation, does an outstanding job. Again, put your hands together. These are 10 outstanding junior showmen.
Congratulations to all of our junior showmen here. We're going to step up to the auction block and present our judging contest awards. We're going to take a 20-minute break here, and we'll be right back with our intermediate showmanship.